Festival has attracted thousands of people to the city of Cincinnati dating all the way back to the 60s. What was once a weekend in the month of July has turned into a week full of events and attractions that make Cincinnati the place to be in July. From Black Tech Week, the Black Music Walk of Fame, the Cincy Taste of Soul, and the Cincinnati Music Festival, thousands of people will be gathering here in our city to get a little taste of what Cincinnati has to offer. This week being a week of celebrating Black music and Black innovation, we must showcase how Black businesses and brands work together to make Cincinnati great. The Cincy Black Travel Guide is a digital interactive guide created to give tourists and residents a week-long list of activities happening during the week. Plus, it will showcase all the amazing Black businesses that we have here in our city. It will be full of discounts and amazing offers for you to come and enjoy Cincinnati local businesses. So get your business signed up to be a part of the Cincy Black Travel Guide because Cincinnati is the place to be in July. Get your Cincy Black Travel Guide by visiting www.cincyblacktravel.com. Yo, 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 it is the Queen Aziza Nubia, and we are back with another amazing episode of Natural Boss Talk. You know, I'm coming back with another amazing guest. We're about to talk about an amazing topic, and I'm so happy to have you guys here. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Please share. If you haven't already, make sure you check out the Cincy Black Travel app. We have some amazing news dropping with that. Our app launches this Saturday. So excited for that. But make sure you check that out. But I'm about to bring on my amazing guest. This is Brittany Miller. I'm going to let her explain to you guys what she does and how she is just a power behind a lot of upcoming entrepreneurs and women in the media game. All right, Brittany, how are you doing today?
Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for having me.
I am so glad. I'm so glad to have you. You're normally the one that gets people in the seat. Yes. And so I got you in the seat. Yes, so tell us a little bit about your brand and what it is you do.
Yes, for sure. So my brand is called Brittany Miller Brand, and it is a mother brand. It's the umbrella company that houses multiple brands underneath. My main brand focuses on branding and PR, communications. We do exposure for clients. We focus on brand imaging. We focus on scaling and expanding collaborations, features, ambassadorship programs, internship programs, anything that helps the business owner be sustainable and grow. That is what we kind of focus on, from the visuals to the concepts to the execution and events, as well as just general networking and navigation. Under Brittany Miller Brand, I also have my magazine, Woman to Woman Talk magazine, which is a fully digital magazine, where we feature women of color. We focus on public figures and celebrities, telling their stories and just giving them a platform to share some of the less talked about concepts for readers. And this is just more so to raise awareness for some of the things that we need more awareness on and that we want to talk about. Also, under my platform, I have Boss Lady Boulevard, which is a Boss Lady hub and shop, where we have everything from courses, classes, resources, gathering events, networking, as well as products. We sell t-shirts. We also have ISOT, TLC, if you want to detox and get well. That's what we're all about. We focus on the total boss. So we have a lot under my platform, but if you notice, I have a common denominator of women empowerment. So that's where I'm really passionate. I have 5 daughters. So that is a big driving force behind my business and behind my mission.
That is so amazing. Like, again, you guys know I'm always going to bring a powerhouse to come talk to us about some of the amazing things that we have going that are just happening around us. And Brittany is definitely one of those individuals. 5 daughters. Like we're close. I have 7. I got 6 boys, 1 girl. But
Uh-huh.
5 daughters, I wish I could have had that many, because it's like it would probably be less fighting in the house, probably.
Sheesh, girl. I don't know. These girls fight. You know, what's worse, a cat fight?
I heard the cat fight, or like my boys, they breaking furnitures and stuff like
Oh,
that.
Lord,
So
Lord.
it
Yeah,
gets
see, I
wild.
don't know. I don't think my anxiety can handle the boys, girl.
Yeah, but definitely one thing that I love to hear you say was that your children have been a driving force behind the things that you do, because you're building a legacy not only
Mhm.
for yourself but for them. Hopefully one day they can be interning or running or the right hand person to your brand that you're building. So I think that's just super amazing. Um,
Yeah.
and another thing which you guys may not know, I met Brittany through the Womanifest Women Empowerment Conference. I know she was doing PR for the event and I was doing marketing. And at the day of the event, she had her daughters up there. They were selling their bracelets and they
Mhm.
made some money that day. And I
Yeah.
just loved how you were able to showcase them, and you're just really being a living example for them.
Thank you. I appreciate that. To be honest, it's more than just a hack, because I always teach people this is the hack. If you're a mom in business, the hack is to involve your kids in business, whether it's to get them their own business or give them roles within your business or just have them shadow or intern with you or things like that. That is a hack, because if they're aware and they understand what you're doing every day and they see and start to process the ebb and flow of business and entrepreneurship, not only will they be more susceptible to deal with your schedule and your random pop-ups and needs and things that happen that you just need to happen at the moment, they will be able to adjust to that, but they'll also start to get into alignment and figure out and zone in on their purpose and come up with ways for them to create their own wealth and ideas and innovation and all of that. So just, for me, I had no choice but to involve them early, because they were there and they were young and they had to pretty much jump on the wagon with me. Before I was a hairstylist, before I was a publicist, I was a hairstylist. And so I did that for 5 years full time for myself, not working in a salon. I was a mobile hairstylist first, and then I had my clients coming to me. But nevertheless, my children were always right there front and center, whether it was picking them up from school and doing their homework and then going to a client's house while they're doing homework and I'm doing hair, or whether the client is coming to me and my kids are home, and they have to understand that even though they're in their own home, it's still a business environment and they have to act accordingly and they have to be in alignment with my flow. So all of that, 5 years of that, definitely prepared me for this next level going into, public relations and business and travel and just doing everything that I'm doing now. They're fully, accustomed to the lifestyle.
That's really amazing. And that's something I always tell people. That you should do if you have children, like get them involved in your business, because heck,
Mhm.
MTV, they have interns as young as 14, 13, 15, and that's their family members, because the earlier you can get them involved in the business, the better you're going to set them off. So
Yeah.
what she is saying to you guys are awesome jewels, and you can have your children as your employees and get them
Yeah.
tax benefits and
There
write-offs.
you go. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, so moving on to, you mentioned that you started off with doing hair. What was that transition into PR, media, and branding?
It was amazing, actually. It was so unplanned and prepared for. It's just not even funny, but it was such a smooth transition. When I first started doing hair, so originally I worked a 9 to 5, traditional 9 to 5, but then my job was really stressing me out. I remember texting my husband literally from my desk at work and saying, I'm tired of this. They're stressing me out. I'm about to quit. And I think, pregnant. I think I was pregnant or just had my 10-year-old.
Okay.
I think I was pregnant with my 10-year-old. And so I literally, he gave me like the soft okay, like, well, whatever you want to do, if you got to do. I'm like, that's all I needed to hear. I'm out. Okay. So I let my team at my job know, like, this is my last day. I'm out. And then from there, I really didn't think too much about what I was going to do next. My plan was supposed to be to fill out for new applications and get a new job that I would actually like and not be stressed out doing. That was the plan. But of course, in the process of looking for a job, bills have to be paid. So what I started doing was just doing hair, natural hair, something that I already knew how to do and that I was already pretty well vested in for myself. And this was when Instagram first hit the scene, like to the point I was kind of anti-Instagram because I was just getting, comfortable and acclimated with Facebook. And then they came out with Instagram. I'm like, what is this?
Like, stop, gosh, it's so much more.
Right. And I didn't understand because I'm a talker and I'm a writer naturally. I didn't understand the benefit or the power of the Instagram with the photos. I'm like, what is people just trying to show off? Like, what are we doing with these photos? Right. So I got on the app eventually because I started doing hair and I'm like, duh, I got to show photos of my work. And I'm like, Instagram is going to be the spot. So I got on Instagram and I started building my hair business and it grew to about 300 clients on rotation. Like it was crazy. To when I opened a salon, I ended up having 8 employees. I hired stylists under me. I had a nail tech, a makeup artist. And so that was the move, right? Because I was doing the hairstyling work, it automatically pushed me into the direction of opening a nonprofit for women. Because as you know, when you sit in your stylist chair, it becomes a therapy session and these women start talking and sharing their stories and what they need and what they have going on. And for me, I'm always just been a natural connector, a natural plug, a natural helper. So when I would hear one woman say, she's going through a divorce and Dag, I need help with this divorce. I don't know what I'm going to do. And then I get another woman fast forward a week later and they're like, oh, I just took my bar test. I'm about to be a divorce attorney. I'm like, girl. So, for me, it happened so often like that where I would have the peanut butter to the jelly in my chair and I would just connect them. And so what I started doing to make it easier is I created a Facebook group for my nonprofit and it grew from there. And then I actually registered the nonprofit. Then I started doing interviews. I got an interview on the radio with Patty Jackson. Shout out to Patty Jackson, WDAS FM in Philly. Yes. So I got an FM radio interview. And mind you, all of this was very organic. It was just me doing my purpose work and putting together our community stuff and just me talking about it. And it got the attention of some of those people. And I started doing the interviews and it just started taking off. And one day, someone invited me to Atlanta to start my own radio show on behalf of what we were doing with the nonprofit. And so I traveled to Atlanta for the first time ever. Never had been here. And to be honest, and I know because you are up north, you're a city girl, right?
Yeah.
So when I came down here, I saw a 2-car garage, a driveway, a humongous yard. And I didn't stop there because I'm just looking. I'm like, oh, it's so beautiful out here. The properties, the land. Next thing I know, I see a little black boy come out on the driveway on a hoverboard. I said, a black boy? Girl, wow. I missed the memo. I done missed the memo. Because in Philly, we don't have access. Like we have access technically, but we don't have access because first of all, the city is struggling. And anywhere that you're going to find a 2-car garage, a driveway, and a yard, it's going to be on the outskirts of Philadelphia, somewhere in the suburbs, and it's going to be over $500,000. And 9 times out of 10, that's where the Caucasian folks live at. And you're not going to feel the community of Black people, right? If you decide to move there, you're making a huge financial sacrifice and you're in a community with people that don't really look like you and don't understand your lifestyle. So that was always a challenge in the city, in the inner city. Me coming to Atlanta is totally different. Black excellence, Black business support. Everybody is well educated, well informed on business and entrepreneurship and the infrastructure and all of that as far as assets, properties, cars, everything. Black people are getting it out here. And so that's something that really attracted me. So my goal was to move here with intentions on opening another hair salon and tackling the natural hair market in Atlanta. Well, I moved my family, my husband, all 5 of my kids. We drove down here. And within the first week, I realized that the price points were totally off. from what I was charging. The services were totally off. In Atlanta, they prioritized color, dreads, wigs, right? Those are like top 3 priorities. Hair color, all kinds of colors, wigs, all kinds of wigs, and all kinds of dreads. They don't really focus too much on the natural hair as is, like outside of dreads, because dreads is obviously natural hair. But outside of dreads, they're not focused too much on natural hair care when it comes to treatments, trims, you know, things like that, that which was more so my specialty and my focus. So it really was a conflict for me. And being as though I'd already moved my family here and I had already started, you know, shifting my life, my husband had already decided he was going to leave his job and all of that, and we were going to move. So I had to do like an instant pivot and figure something out, because this was my everyday income for 5 years. I had done nothing else but hair. So I literally resulted back to what I did the first time when I decided to do hair, which was tap into the skills that I knew I had temporarily until I figured this thing out. And so I started doing branding. I started making graphics. I started, you know, connecting people and charging people to get on meetings to connect them and to coach them and to teach them about starting business, because this was something I was already doing when people were seeing the success that I was getting with the nonprofit and my hair company. So people would always ask me, like, how did you get the interview on the radio? How do you make your flyers? How do you know who to collaborate with? How often should I post on social media? Like, all these things I was helping my friends for free. But at this point, I'm like, I have to make a pivot. So I'm going to put this website together. I'm going to build these packages, and I'm going to tap into the skills and sell the skills that I know how to do. And so that's what I did. And within the first 2 months, I got my first 2 celebrity clients on the same day, totally unrelated. It was crazy. And that was the start of Brittany Miller Brand PR and branding agency. And from there, I've literally been doing that for the last 5 years now. So it's been a total of 10 years of full-time entrepreneurship.
Awesome. Yeah. And I be telling people, they think that entrepreneurship is something glamorous and just you have all the free time and you can make all the money that you want.
Yet. Not in the beginning.
It's the biggest grind, the biggest sacrifices that you'll ever make is for yourself. But the payout in the long run, especially if you have something good and you build it on the right pillars, you can have a legacy that can stand for a long time. I think that's just an amazing story that entered you into the game. So, like, tell me, what are some of the things that you help your clients do?
So I help my clients do everything from networking to collaborating. Well, first I'll start here because I'll treat this like how I would treat a client. When a client first comes in, I start them with assessing their branding, because we can't really expose you if you're not prepared to be exposed. That's just a quality thing. I mean, of course, anybody can be exposed, but we care at which condition we're exposed. So with that, we focus on the branding first. Do they have headshots? Do they have brand color palette? Is their business and their initiative clear on social media? Does their social media match with their email, match with their website, match with their, whatever platforms they have that are connected to this brand? Does everything match? And is it uniform and is it branded? So that was where we start initially. And once we do that, then we start to build a PR plan, how we're going to gain exposure, what we're going to create campaign-wise that's interesting, that's trendy, that's catchy for the consumer, for us to go out and pitch, right? And so that looks like the campaign building process, looks like the branding, the collaborations, intentional collaborations, AKA people who align with whatever you're doing in that particular campaign to maximize it and to be more appealing for the media. So when it's time for us to do the PR side, we're not just coming with you, because 9 times out of 10, if you're coming to get branding and PR, especially if you're a fairly new business, most people don't know who you are yet. So if that's the case, that's a struggling value to the media, because the media doesn't know who you are. They don't understand the benefit of them sharing your story.
Right.
So because of that, before we even get to the media, we align intentional collaborations and partnerships and ambassadorships and things with people that the media does recognize. So that way, when we pitch and we reach out and we, present ourselves, we can present the total package, not just you, who they really don't know yet, but also the people you're affiliated with through these collaborations that they do know. And so that helps us get through the door a little easier. But we help clients build out that full process, from campaigns to public relations journey and getting that exposure, to even recapping the PR results. Because sometimes you have such a successful campaign where the media, is picking it up pretty well, to the point that the whole PR run, the run itself, becomes a campaign. If it does really well, then we can circle back and say, wow, this person went viral, or wow, this person, broke the internet. That becomes its own headline. So we carry it as long as we can carry it. And once it's exhausted and it's, okay, we're done with this at this point, then we literally start the whole process over and create a new campaign that fits with the current season and the current quarter. And we repeat all over again with new collaborations, new people, new platforms, and new media, and just keep it going around the year.
I think that's really important, the things that you were mentioning, because with just a lot of the female entrepreneurs that watch this podcast, I try to always explain how important it is to invest in PR, how it can really expand your brand. But just certain things that you said, a lot of people don't want to have professional headshots. They just want to keep their business on Facebook and Instagram and getting a website. But if you're wanting to reach a lot of people and reach the masses, you are going to have to be able to step it up a notch. And partnering and hiring a PR consultant and a PR firm will take you so far and makes the work so much easier.
This is true.
And it's so beneficial. It's a good investment. Yeah. So can you give us like some tips? Because I know a lot of people are looking for PR, wanting to know what are the best PR firms to go to. Sometimes they can be very, very expensive, and then some people are paying for something and then you won't get any results. So besides making sure that y'all book with the Brittany Miller brand, but what could you tell people, like, what to look for when it comes to getting the right PR person on your team?
I love this question, because honestly, I think it's hard to decipher sometimes with PR professionals, because they can be so exclusive sometimes and so mysterious. I'm the type of person that I'm very transparent and very, outward spoken with what I do and with what I'm doing. But in PR, I will say that public relations has always been and still is a luxury service. It is something that every business and every brand should have, but it's not something that every brand and every business is in position to have, if that makes sense. And I say this because PR is not a get rich quick system. It's not a get famous quick system. It does take time. Some things happen quicker. Some things are just destiny. We may pitch a client to a major outlet and they might get picked up right away because it's destined for them to do that and for them to get that type of awareness. But some clients, we have to push a lot harder. We may have to pitch the same outlet for 2 years in a row before they actually decide to say, you know what, we're going to give you a chance and give you a spot. But that's where the consistency in the service comes from. And that goes back to the luxury, because it's not a cheap service. It's pretty expensive on the scale of day-to-day life expenses. However, for what it has the power to do and for what it has the grip on in the industry, it is fairly priced. But what I'm seeing now is that a lot of business owners are jumping into getting PR without an understanding of how the flow of service works. I like to tell people to treat PR like a utility. It's not something, you're not going to turn your electric on just for a month and then be in the dark for the rest of the year. It's something that you need on a consistent basis throughout the entire year, ongoing, because once publicists get going on your account, at least, you know, the good ones and the quality ones, once we get going on your account, things start to roll over. You know, if we're pitching in January and we're pitching in February and we're pitching in March, something from January may not surface until June.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But if we also have things that are being pitched in January that surface in January.
Right.
So it's very scattered, and we can't really control sometimes when things surface or when the result comes back around, but we can control how vigorous we're going on outreach, and things like that. So if you are a client that is enrolled on an annual, yearly, all around basis, you're going to get the best results, because I can't tell you how many publicists I know that if they have a client, say the client books them for January, February, March, and they're not getting the results they want for some reason, and the client decides to cancel. I've had publicists where they'll get an email in June for a big opportunity for that same client, and they won't give it to them because they're not on their payroll. And they'll give it to another client that is on payroll, even if that was the client they originally pitched, because they're no longer on service. And so whenever you deal with PR, you have to have an extreme level of patience. You have to have a budget. And the biggest thing is you have to trust your professional. If you don't trust the publicist that you're working with, it's going to be a very difficult job, because in PR, we speak for you a lot as a client. We speak for you. We speak on your behalf. We lead the process. If you want to lead the process, it's not a good service to lead the process as a client. Because unless you're a publicist yourself, it's hard for you to lead the publicist on how to do what you don't necessarily know how to do, or you're not, you know, familiar with the protocol or the processes. Because I've seen clients that have that factor where they're very hands-on and they have to be in control, and they want to kind of tell you how to do what you're doing or in what order to do what you're doing. And this is not one of those kind of services where that works well, because most publicists are successful because of their own system or their own network or their own flow. And usually it's not something that the client can really oversee, or if that makes sense. So it's a very trusting relationship. You have to trust your publicist. And I would say things to look out for are publicists that advertise their work through their clients. Don't work with a publicist that advertises themselves. That's a red flag. Traditional PRs and publicists are not even, you know, people that like to be exposed. Usually they're usually people that are comfortable in the background, that like to be behind the scenes, that thrive behind the scenes. So sometimes you'll see these publicists and these agencies that they're marketing themselves even more than they're marketing their clients. And that's a red flag, because you don't want your publicist presence to be so heavy in the work that they're doing for you that people can literally connect the dots and see how you got what you got done. You want a publicist that's okay with being incognito, with being mysterious, with being, you know, you don't have to tag me. You don't have to credit me for what I'm doing for you. That is why our service is so high priced. We don't really get credit, and that's okay. We're not supposed to. You know, that's what you're paying for. You're paying for us to help you move ahead and accelerate you in business. We promote our work, but you don't have to promote our work as a client. And sometimes publicists will, you know, be pushy in that way, or put their logos on your flyers, or do the most when it comes to exposing themselves within the work they're doing for you. And that, to me, is one of the biggest red flags. It's not conducive to the average flow of PR. And it actually is ruining the agency when publicists do that. So those are some things to definitely look out for. Just look for publicists that can showcase what they do and what they have done through clients they already have. And that's the best proof in the pudding, is to see the live work and to see the live clients.
Man, she dropped some major jewels. Y'all know when y'all come to the Natural Boss Talk, you got to have a pen and paper, because the jewels are going to be dropped and they can definitely be applied. So Brittany, tell us, what are some things that we should be on the lookout from you? Because you have a lot going on. I be following you on Instagram, and you always are just doing your thing.
Doing the most.
Tell us how we can support you and what you have going on.
For sure. So right now is actually a really pivotal time for me. And just speaking on this topic, with the PR service industry, I'm actually making a low-key pivot. And this is my first public interview that I've done where I'm saying this. I've told people in the privacy of our own calls and things like that. But I'm slowly pulling away from the PR service industry as a PR full-time, service professional.
Right.
But what I'm doing is something completely revolutionary, okay? And I'm going to be an enemy to many, but it's all right. I'm prepared, right? Change makers, we prepare.
Yes, of course.
But I'm entering more into the PR consultant space where I'm doing less of the done for you services and more of the guidance and consulting to teach you how to not only be your own PR initially, but how to transition that knowledge of being your own PR into hiring your own in-house PR, which is so much better. I'm telling you. And I'm a publicist that's an agency, and I'm telling you this is better for a reason.
Yeah.
PR agencies like mine, we have a lot of clients. Like right now, I have probably over 30 clients that are active or for different things, not all on monthly service. Some are just, on different types of levels of service, but I actively have about 30 plus clients at the moment. So logistically, whether I have a team or not, my focus and my agenda is automatically spread out regardless. No matter what I do, no matter how much you pay, no matter how much time I have, it's already spread out because I have multiple clients. The most effective way to have PR as a brand or a business is to have an in-house PR, to hire an employee that's under your company and train them how to be your publicist, or have someone train them to be your publicist. For me, I teach, do PR consulting with my clients that are on the consulting side. And with that, we do it by the hour. You book an hour, and I literally take that hour and I teach you about the important components for your brand. You don't have to know everything about the public relations industry because you're not working on clients. So it's not that in depth. It's not that serious. But what we do go over is the perfect PR strategy, mindset, concepts, systems for your particular brand. And then once you know the must-haves, the must-dos, the must-connect-withs, and all of that for your particular brand, then you can start to implement those systems, those strategies, those structures to your team. You can bring in an intern, and you can teach the intern eventually to become your PR specialist, and they can only work on your company. That way, anytime you have a PR need, or you have an event, or you have whatever, you can delegate those tasks in that area to that particular person, and they're not just doing it on the blind, because you don't really want to hire a PR professional to put in that spot, because they obviously have invested in those skills on their own, and 9 times out of 10 they're going to take more clients. So this is a way to ensure that this person is just working for you. And when you have that in place, then you can work back and forth on an ongoing basis for way less money with someone like me to give you the blueprint and the guidance on how to keep that professional that you put in place on track and on point. And so with that, because I'm transitioning, it's not just traditional consulting. Most people that deal with business consultants or coaches, it's guidance only. They give you the guidance and then you go apply it, which it's similar with PR consulting with me. However, the difference is, in addition to the guidance, I'm also giving the resources. So within that hour, let's say you book an hour for PR consulting. Within that hour, I would not only give you guidance on what you need to do next and what orders of the steps and what systems and processes to use, but I'll also give you contacts. I'll also give you, templates or systems or whatever that you need to execute it. As long as we're within that hour, you're paying for my time, then I'm willing to give you as much actual substance as I can in that hour. So based on what we're focused on, I'm giving you the guidance, but also the supplies and the tools to actually execute. And so once you have that instruction and those tools, you go back, you execute, you do your homework, and then you come back and book for another hour, and we pick up where we left off. The good thing is you can actually invite your team, the person that you're delegating to be this in-house PR, into your consulting sessions if you want to, so they can pick up what I'm putting down as well. And basically, I'm teaching you how to have a little me in your company that you have control over, which is unheard of, because Most publicists are not going to teach you how to be a PR or how to do PR because it's a conflict of interest, right?
Yeah.
So for me, because I'm pulling back from the service industry, it's not a conflict of interest for me. And, I'd rather help people learn to do this the smarter way than to continue to see people end up with bad business deals, because the PR industry in 2023 is changing, and it's not as quality based and as solid as it used to be. There's a lot of scammers, there's a lot of half steppers, there's a lot of people that hide behind the luxury service itself and the fact that it's luxury. They hide behind that and they're unavailable. You can't reach them. They're super, tight with their time, tight with their resources, and it just feels, stressful. And
Right.
so to avoid that, I'm helping people by giving them the 411 on how to really do this PR thing, what the real resources are, what the verbiage is like, how to write these statements out, the formatting, all of the whole nine. And just long story short, the reason why I'm doing this is because, as I mentioned, I have multiple brands of my own. My children have brands of their own. And for me, I feel like I've invested so much into this space, into this industry, that I'm ready to focus now on my own brands and my children's brands and use my knowledge and my resources to build my in-house umbrella. But of course, in order to not just leave my clients and the public to nothing, I have this PR consulting service because I do care about the field. I care about the industry of public relations. I care about the success of clients and independent businesses. And I'm also, frankly, just sick of the BS, if it makes sense. I'm sick of the BS of people being strung along and people not getting the real information. So this is something that is super exclusive and super useful. I'm giving people the fishing rod instead of the fish.
I think that is super amazing, and it's definitely a game changer and something I think a lot of companies would definitely invest in, because you're saving thousands of dollars having just someone in-house handling PR. And if they can learn from one of the best, that sounds like a deal to me. So
they're so much cheaper.
Yes.
Like so much cheaper. I charge $150 an hour right now for PR consulting, as opposed to $1,500 monthly. You know what I mean? So and that's my starting rate for my monthly services. So it's an extreme difference, but it's an extreme difference in the delivery as well. I'm giving you knowledge that I already have. It doesn't really cost me nothing to share with you. So I'm being fair and reasonable by giving an affordable price that makes sense, because obviously I still have to get paid for my time, but I already know this knowledge. I'm not tapping into any kind of strenuous space for me to just teach someone what I know. So I try to keep the price fair. With PR service, that's totally different, because I actually have to do it for you. I have to send those emails. I have to sit on those meetings. I have to sit on those phone calls. I have to make negotiations. So that's where it gets expensive. And I have to represent your company with my company. And that means if you do something crazy, now I'm risking my brand. So that's why PR is such a high priced and exclusive service. So there's a method to the madness, but with today's market and the way so many business owners are just emerging and running after PR without understanding it, this is a bridge that I'm creating to fill that gap. And just to be a little more affordable for people, and the right people who are really serious will apply it, and it won't take them many sessions to actually have a foundation already in place for their PR department, because that's what we're doing. When we're doing this consulting, we're adding a PR department to your company. And so laying that initial foundation only has to be done once. So once you lay that foundation and you get the typical ebb and flow, you probably will only need to come consult with me on an as needed basis as you do new events, or you're launching a new product, or you're, whatever, because once you have the base foundation, that system will be able to run 365 days a year and you'll be fine.
All right. There you have it, Brittany. Let us know where we can follow and keep up to date with you, website, social media links, all that great stuff.
Yeah, so I'm going to keep it simple. BrittanyMillerBrand.com, spelled BrittanyMillerBrand.com. That has everything. If you go to that website, you can get to my magazine, you can get to my subscription list, you can get to my services. Everything that you need is there. If you want to follow me on social media, I would say go to Instagram at Mrs. Britt Miller, and that's MRSBRITTMILLER. And when you go there, you'll be able to get the links in my bio for all of my other platforms and all of my other links and connections. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm super approachable. I offer free consultation. So I make it very easy for you to get to know what I have to offer and get locked in.
Most definitely. I definitely stamp give my stamp of approval for the
Yes.
Brittany Miller brand, because she does an amazing job and
Thank
definitely
you.
connected and has a lot of knowledge that can definitely be beneficial. So y'all better take her up on something, especially before the Brittany Miller PR company gets,
We start to go in the bushes before we start to go in them bushes, girl.
yes, y'all better jump on these services, as well as check out all of her other brands, and tap in. You know, that's what Natural Boss talk about,
Please
is to
tap in.
connect us to the people who are actually doing the work. And
Oh, real quick. I'm so sorry, Aziza.
yes,
I have to let you know this because obviously you're in Ohio. I
yeah,
have a big collaborative event coming up with Life Her Podcast in Akron, Ohio. Okay.
okay,
We are coming to Ohio on October 22nd, and
okay,
we're coming to talk to the inner city girls. Okay. First of all, about expansion, business practices, next level networking, all of the next level big things that we see in cities like Atlanta and Miami and LA, because low key, we are the original city girls from up north. We are the original city goers. You know what I'm saying?
exactly,
The inner cities, the urban cities that struggle the most are the original poppin' cities that got the motion. The problem is we have a lot of barriers when it comes to social and economics and finances and things like that. So we're going to come to Ohio, and me and my girl Yvette from Life Her Podcast, we are teaching boss women how to elevate past all of those barriers and those adversities and see past, that those blocks, because we got the sauce. Like, I know I'm here in Atlanta in the South, and they love us from up north. They don't know what to do
yes.
with our hustle. Okay. So once we change the mindset of these women and start to really educate them and teach them about the flow, we're going to start doing bigger things. And we don't have to necessarily come to Atlanta or come to LA. We can do it in our own cities. So that is what we are on a mission to do. And connect with us there for at Life Her Podcast or Woman to Woman Talk on Instagram.
So y'all heard that. So make sure y'all tap in with Brittany. Follow her social media. They're coming to Akron, Ohio, October 22nd. That's my birthday month. I got to see if I have that time on the schedule to come check you guys out, because
Yes.
what they're offering is something that's definitely needed. And the goal is now, because the hustle's there, the energy's there. It's just, we really need the mindset. That mindset is what's going to help propel you along your path of just becoming successful and running your businesses. And I always tell people, sometimes you don't even need to leave out of your own city to pop off. You just got to know how to work what you have there. You know, sometimes you ain't got to go to, like she said, Atlanta or LA. So I'm looking forward to that. Make sure you guys follow Brittany, because that is some amazingness, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna be having more of those type of events and things popping off.
Yes, for
So
sure. First of many, okay?
yes,
We're
yes,
doing a
yes.
pop-up in Philly too on November 11th is a pop-up. We're not doing a full event, but we're popping up at somebody else's event.
Okay.
So if you're in Philly and you hear this or you see this, hit us up on 11/11. Just go to our pages and you can get all the information.
That sounds good. I actually love Philly. That's like one of my favorite places.
Come through, girl. Come
Yes.
through.
And
Okay.
then and it's crazy because I am from Cincinnati, but just the Philadelphia, that's like a lot of my I guess like my first fans and my followings were built out of there from Baltimore, Philly,
Wow.
because I did a lot of work with fashion shows and the natural hair care movement.
Nice.
So
So you have a
Philly's
little nice
always
network
home.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Philly's always home from Harrisburg. Like anytime I needed something, the people there are just so loving and they take care of people. Like I love it.
Yeah.
My favorite spot
I
ever.
love that. I love that feedback, girl. That's amazing because girl, people say Philly people are mean and nasty, so I love it.
Yeah, I get good love, and I don't know if it's just me or my energy, but that Philly and Harrisburg has always taken care of me. So shouts out to that. Well, I thank you so much, Brittany, for taking the time to talk with me on this Natural Boss Talk episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me at Aziza Nubia and follow Ask Natural Woman. Make sure you subscribe to Natural Woman magazine so you can get all the latest on what we have going on, our events that we have coming up. Make sure if you haven't already, download the Cincy Travel Guide if you are from Cincinnati. And don't worry, y'all. I know a lot of people, because I know people from all over the dang on continent. We got more coming with this travel guide. We just ain't stopping with Cincinnati. So just sit tight. We'll be rolling out a lot of great intel on that soon. But thank you guys for this amazing episode for Natural Boss Talk. We'll be back with another Natural Boss next week. But until then, peace.
See you later. Thank you.